Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
Conceive, believe, achieve. Shut the f*** up.
You're listening to Believe You Me with Michael the Count Bisping.
You know my name yet?
And Anthony Lionheart Smith.
Oh, I gotta say, you suffer from the same condition as me. If I don't put a ridiculous amount of gel in my hair, it is curly as hell. Look at that shit.
Yeah, my hair gets wild, man, and it's getting longer. I need a haircut. I need a haircut badly.
No, I like it. That's what everyone says to me. Oh, I like it. I like it. But
they always say that, right? I'm like, I know, but I don't like it.
Yeah,
so.
I had a shower when I got back from a monster journey from Saudi Arabia, of course, which we're going to get in. Also, we've got Daniel Rodriguez joining the show and Mike Perry later on. I got in, I had a shower, put nothing in my hair, and my hair was just mental.
All over the place.
Yeah, how you doing, Paul? You good? Thanks for joining the show today, buddy.
Thanks for having me, man. Anytime I can make it work. Would love to jump on and believe you me with you.
Yes. Oh, well, we are believing with each other. Obviously, Anthony Smith is fighting this weekend.
Yes.
So we'll talk about that stuff. Let me ask you, I'm assuming you saw UFC Saudi Arabia at the weekend.
I did.
Good. Well, that's good. That's a good start.
You tune in. Although those early starts on the East Coast, I complain about the late starts for pay-per-views, and then when it's like a noon start, I'm like, oh, it's like right in the middle of my day. But I mean, I watched Rob Whittaker in the main event and had the rest of my day. I felt like it should have been midnight, and it was like 3 p.m. So
yeah, and you guys are going through a heat wave at the minute as well. So you want to be out enjoying the weather.
It is horrible here, Michael. I mean, horrible. And you know me, I'm out there torture festing every single day, and it's getting hard. I mean, we're hitting highs of like 96 here on the East Coast. So
yeah, that's hot. No, it's hot. Well, not to outdo you, but in Saudi Arabia, it was about 120 degrees almost every single day. I never left the hotel. I never left my hotel room. We went to a restaurant one night. That was it. Other than that, everyone's like, let's go down to Chop Square. That's where the executions take place. I'm like, I'm fine. I'm good. I'm going to stay in my room. I was jet lagged. I was tired. I had podcasts and stuff like that to do, not to mention a ton of research. And it was hot as hell. Great place, though. Thank you for the hospitality. Everyone in Saudi Arabia, very, very polite people. Let me tell you, the best manners you've ever experienced.
I was supposed to go originally, and just last minute it didn't work out with the schedule. But I'm sure I'll be there next time, either working the desk or getting to call the fights over there in the beautiful conditions of that climate. I'll be in Abu Dhabi plenty this year, though, Michael. So I'll be experiencing very similar conditions this year.
Good. I mentioned the most polite people ever. Where is, in your opinion, where you've traveled to, the rudest people?
Oh, I mean, I hate to be stereotypical, but the French can be pretty rude.
They can.
They can. And I don't know if it's like, is it just rudeness or is it matter of factness? And we take that as rudeness. Also, I'm an American, and when I'm there, it's with the UFC. So I'm there with like Jimmy Stewart, Zach, Derek. We're loud, big American individuals. So I just feel like we get almost targeted, like, oh, here they come. Here comes the circus coming through town.
Well, go on. Sorry.
But it's still one of my favorite places to go as well, even if the people are a little, we'll call them a matter of fact and short, as opposed to maybe rude. But because I don't want them to get mad at me. I don't want Benoit Saint-Denis coming after me.
Nobody wants that, especially with the special forces crew. Again, not to outdo you, but you've been around DC. He's a loud guy.
Oh,
so after the fight, we go to the airport. We get there way too early, and then the flight's delayed, right?
Oh.
So we're all at the airport. There's me, there's Johnny Walker, Michael Chiesa, DC, who else? Alejandro Pantoja. There was like all the UFC crew. We're all on the same flight to Turkey, right? And they're all being loud, and DC's like the loudest. And I'm like, I just want to get on this flight, right?
Yeah.
And they're swearing and they're being super loud. And
they don't like that.
So I'm like, I'm tired anyway. So I'm like, just in case anyone comes over, I'm not with them. I'm not with them. So we get on the plane. And again, it was fun. It was a fun flight, but we were all up front in first class. That sounds bougie, but thank you, UFC.
Oh yeah.
And the noise, right? And DC was standing up. He was holding court. And I felt so sorry for the other passengers. Do you know what I mean?
Over the chairs and talking to everybody.
We're arguing with Chiesa and stuff. It was funny. It was a good time. It was a good flight. And this is the craziest thing I've ever heard. Well, first of all, when we were walking onto the plane, DC's chanting, USA, USA, we're going home. We're going home.
We did it.
We did it. We made it, baby. And then when they're at the airport, Michael Chiesa and DC, they're strategizing for the flight. And they're like, let's drink Red Bull now. We've worked all night. The flight's finished at 2 a.m. We went to the airport. And who in their right mind, drinks a Red Bull in that situation?
To try to stay awake?
To stay awake. Hey, Mom, we're going to stay up all night.
Dude, I know. I can't. I just can't do, dude, anymore. As soon as I hit those first class seats, I'm out. I might not even make it to the food service at this point. Even it doesn't matter what time of day it is. I hit those seats, especially after fights, because going there, I'm worried about the fights. I'm worried about the research that I got to do. I've got things on my mind. That flight home, I want to put on a BS movie, sit back, have a drink, and see you later on those flights. It's like my favorite part of the trip is that return home trip where I don't have shit to worry about.
I was sitting next to Dan Helly, speaking of movies, and he recommended a film for me to watch. And I have judged him as a person. He said, it's really good, Mike. You got to check it out. It's very, very interesting. And I watched it. I'm like, this shit. Now, as we know, I'm an aspiring actor, so I'm not going to throw the production, the director, the actresses all over the bus.
May work with them someday.
You never know. But I was like, this shit, it's awful. Anyway, last quick story. Did you see Johnny Walker's fight?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that. But I just want to say this. Johnny Walker was on the flight and he was at the airport. And you know how it is. We've all been there. We've lost fights. You win some, you lose some. Obviously, the idea is to try and win them all, but that's just not the way it goes. It's a cruel sport, but it's a beautiful sport at the same time. So we're at the airport. Johnny Walker's there. And of course, he's very sad, and I'm talking to him and I'm not giving him a pep talk, but I'm like, you know what, Johnny, this is the game, man. You win some, you lose some. I said, but look at this. I said, you're in Saudi Arabia. You're flying around the world. You're living your dream. You're being a professional athlete. You're making good money. You could be back home in Brazil doing some shitty job for next to nothing. I said, you fly around the world. You get to be a professional athlete. You make good money. And most of the time you probably win. Sometimes you lose. I said, try and look at it like that. And he said, yeah. And he was still kind of down. And I said, oh, come on, man. Don't beat yourself up over it. And he goes, oh, there's no need. Volkan Uzdemir already do
this. They already beat me up.
Yeah. He's a funny guy, man.
He is funny, man. I felt bad. I felt bad when I saw that one. I kind of was coming into the house and that fight was literally ending on the TV when I walked in the door and I was like, oh my gosh. That was just a bad one, man. The crazy thing is, some guys will get hurt in fights. Everyone gets hurt differently. My God, does Johnny Walker get hurt in the most fantastical fashions imaginable. Which makes it worse, right? It makes it look worse than maybe it even is for him as far as the trauma that he's taken. But my God, when he goes down, similar to when Jamal Hill put him down, it was a knockout like that. And I just thought, man, that's tough. You start racking them up. And he had a few like that, Michael, even before he made it to the UFC where he'd been put down really bad. So I just always worry when I see the big guys like that, especially start to go down that badly. You start to question, do you get that back? What do you need to do to get that back? Because he's so explosive and dangerous. But if guys are starting to touch that chin with anything, I mean, now Volkan's a powerful dude, but they're all going to be like that in that weight class, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I mean, this is just beautiful work from that little I mean, oh, that's that last one, man. That's the one that it's like, oh,
I hate to rip. It was Jason Herzog, right? The referee, I believe. Jason's a tremendous referee. Tremendous referee, but I feel like he could have got in there a little bit quicker there. He should have dived in, but we're talking seconds. It's not. And
you know what though? For Jason too, he's probably thinking because he just had that Cannonier fight, so he's like, oh, maybe, dude. That's why I don't. And we've both said it before. I don't envy those guys, man, because we're giving them crap for being there too soon. We're giving them crap for not being there when we need them. But right. I agree. I wish it. Looking back at it after we just watched that second shot again, you'd like to see him kind of get right after the uppercut if he could have got in. But man, then what if Johnny pops back up and he's like, what's going? It's tough.
Yeah. No, it is. And as I say, I take that back actually because Jason, the referee's got a tough job, as does Johnny Walker. And as you say, going forward, what does he do? And as I say, he was on the flight and he was talking to us in DC. They exchanged numbers. And DC was giving him some great advice. He's like, listen, you've got to work on your wrestling. Yeah. You've got to be able to wrestle. He said, certainly at light heavyweight, where people have that much power, you need to have the ability to take somebody down. He says, so take my number. You've got an open invitation. Fly over to AKA. We can figure out accommodation. Come and train. He said, people would love to have you in the room, but that's what you need. And I kind of agree. Johnny Walker is a threat on the feet. He's a gigantic athlete. He's explosive and all the rest of it, but he needs a wrestling foundation. Not that I'm some wrestling beast myself. I wasn't. But if you need to be able to hit a double leg takedown, you got to have that in your arsenal, a clinch, a single leg, whatever the case may be.
Something. Some other backup plan. Like, me and you weren't necessarily known for our wrestling prowess, but I did have things that I could back up on. I could shoot, I could clinch, I could engage, I could fight close and dirty box. I think that's his issue is he's got to just have something other than landing something big and standing on the outside because it's just not enough. And also it's 2024 where, I know I haven't been retired all that long, but the game already has moved on so much since I've left. Since you've left. So to be elite in the divisions now, you do have to almost be able to do everything. You can't just be the guy that's the knockout guy. You can, sure. Johnny's going to knock some dudes out, but will he ever be able to obtain the belt? Will he ever get close to that belt? Not if he can't mix it up. Not if he can't be in a 5-round war where he can slow things down or he can mix things up. You got to have something in the back pocket.
Do you know who's listening to this conversation right now and saying, shut up, you guys don't know what you're talking about?
Who's that?
Alex Pereira. Alex Pereira's like, this guy don't know what the they talk about.
Yeah, he's an exception to a lot of this stuff.
He's an anomaly.
And, I was thinking about this before we started this today. And I remember the last time I bet against him, the last time I think I was on here with you. And even if I thought that going into this one, which I don't, but I can't. I don't think I can pick against that guy. And I don't ever want to see him again because I saw him in Brazil after that. And I had picked and I didn't even want to say hi to him. I was nervous. So.
Yeah. Well, he's kind of got that presence, hasn't he? He's a scary, big guy. He's serious. He's scary. He can knock you out.
I know that. I mean, if he can knock these dudes out that he's knocking out, he can certainly put me out.
Yeah, certainly a one-eyed retired over the hill, semi-fat cyclops. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, I'm on my bike, bro. I'm out of here. Take it easy.
I'm literally on my bike, and I'm literally out of here.
Yeah. All right, we're just going to quickly go through some of these fights. Kelvin Gastellum missed weight against Daniel Rodriguez. Had to go up to 185 pounds. Didn't want to do a catch weight. UFC didn't want to do that either. There was talk, apparently, about it being a flight issue, right? Turns out he was in Saudi Arabia for almost 2 weeks. It's not like it's not hot. It's not like you can't get a sweat on there, And he said he didn't have access to the correct foods. I don't buy it, man. I had plenty of lettuce, shredded carrots if you want it.
You can't get eggs. You can't.
I got scrambled eggs at 3 o'clock in the afternoon at my hotel, which is rare.
Yeah. I hate it. I think it's such BS. I think and again, I think he's a tremendous fighter. I think he's got all the skills in the world, but a lot of times these guys that have all the skills in the world are lazy, man. There's no other excuse. You're not a middleweight. You have the power to be there. You've proven that you've got the ability to put people away. You've got the wrestling. You've got everything else, except you just don't have the work ethic. And it's sad to see a guy like him with all that ability, time and time again, just disappoint everybody and show up and disappoint your opponents too, man. Like you're a big name in the sport, and that's a big opportunity for a guy like Rodriguez. And then you don't even make weight. You mess his whole thing up. Luckily for him, I just saw a post. He was saying he got a new contract out of the deal. They compensated him 30% of Gastelum's purse. So I mean, I think he made out all right, but where does he go? Like, where do you go? And what does Dana do? Do you just get rid of him? I mean, honestly, do you just say, we don't need the headache, Kelvin? We don't need the headache. We don't know what, even at 85, sometimes it was like, are you going to make even that weight class? So, man, again, nothing
D-Rod
against
was
him personal, but I say,
I'm kind of repeating. I'm repeating Thursday's show a little bit, so I'll keep it brief. But D-Rod was crushed, man, when he was sitting in the room, because he'd been dieted down. You could see he was all sucked in, on a calorie deficit whilst training for a fight. It's not flipping easy, as you know. So, but I thought D-Rod did fantastic. We're going to talk to him in a little bit, but I wanted to get your thoughts on that. Going to talk about, though. Let's just go to the main event. It's the main event for a goddamn bloody reason. Ikram Aliskerov steps up, short notice, flies across the world, steps up God knows how many levels in terms of opponent and rankings, etc., etc. We all know how good Robert Whittaker is. I don't need to set the stage. If you watch this sport, you're aware of how good he is, how dangerous he is. Saturday night goes out there, utterly destroys the guy in a very, very short amount of time. And this is crazy. First finish in 7 years. Can you believe that?
Wow. Yeah, I guess looking back, he has been to a lot of decisions, and he's been fighting the absolute best. He was fighting, defending the belt for how long? Man, I think he needed that. You could see how pumped he was that he takes this guy who's relatively unknown to the casual fan at home, and to even Robert himself, right? I mean, he even said, I didn't really even know who this guy was until I was getting the call that he was going to be a replacement. But I mean, I'm a huge Robert Whittaker fan. I think he's just always such a good professional. He shows up, he does his damn job. He doesn't really bitch about anything, and to go in there and, be ready to fight Chimaev. And that's the thing. I saw his post-fight interview where somebody was like, well, do you think it would have been different if you were fighting Chimaev? And he kind of laughed it off. He's like, mate, if I had wheels, I'd be a bicycle. You know what I mean? What if I had eggs instead of waffles for breakfast? I can't. He has nothing to do with the outcome of that. He took the fight and he looked great. I was watching a clip on his feints just a second ago before he drew out everything that he was going to do and countered it perfectly. He knew that left kick looked like what he was going to counter. Every time Robert pump faked him, man, he went to lift that leg up. He was like, okay, I'm going to come big over the top with that right hand. And that's what started the end of it. And just to see his patience too. A lot of young guys, if they had a guy on skates like that, hurt that bad, you know how it is. They'd start wailing away, maybe not get the knockout, and then end up gassing themselves out. Whittaker was just a bit of a sniper in there, really picking his shots and making sure to put them away. I mean, that's a statement. I'm curious to see what they do next with him.
Massive statement. It is. And it's even though Aliskerov, all right, let's not really the name, but I think anyone with half a brain that watches mixed martial arts, that's in the world, in the scene, if you will, you know how good he is. 15-1, 3 stoppages, 2 in the UFC, 1 on the Contender Series, and 2 decent opponents in the UFC, and he made short work of them. And of course, he trains at Team Habib or whatever they call Eagle MMA, whatever in Dagestan. You know how good he is and what he's capable of. So, and Whittaker just smokes him. And by the way, I just want to clarify that when I said first stoppage in 7 years, that sounds like it's an insult. It is not. I could not be a bigger fan of Robert Whittaker. I'm saying for me, when I heard that, I was like, that's crazy. But then when you factor into the equation, he is only fighting the best people.
The best.
Then it's not surprising, but that shocked me as well. But still, congratulations, Robert. I'm just all this success couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
That's what I mean. He's the man. He's just one of those guys. You obviously, when we're calling fights, I stay out of it. I'm not rooting for either guy. But when I was sitting up in my living room on Saturday, I'm hoping Bobby Knuckles gets it done. You know what I mean? I like the guy. I like his style. I like the way he fights. And to see him, like you said, I didn't realize it was that long either, but to see him go get a big finish at this point in his career, I think that's huge. That's needed, right? He's got to show the UFC, look, I can still, I can put these guys away. I'm only fighting the top 3, the top 5 of this whole division. As soon as you give me somebody down the rankings a little bit, he proves, like, look, these guys don't belong here with me.
Yeah, well, he's talking about it as well. And I understand being a backup fighter in Perth for Drickus versus Izzy. I say Sean Strickland, Robert Whittaker, #1 contender matchup. Let's go.
Yeah. I always like the idea of if you can get a big fight and a fight that can line you up next versus sitting and waiting and being the backup and going through all the same stuff and then not getting the outcome necessarily. I mean, going through a whole training camp to be a backup, to cut the weight, to then not most likely, hopefully, at least for the UFC's, perspective, you don't end up fighting. So I'm with you. If you can get a cooler, bigger fight that's going to hype things up and get more attention behind you, and you get another 5-rounder potentially in you, or maybe another finish, then there's no denying where you go. I think the later you get in if you're going to sit and wait, opportunities might pass you by, and he's running out of time. I know he's not. I don't know how old is Robert now.
34.
He's still pretty
34.
Young. Yeah, that's crazy. He's been around forever. He's one of those guys still, right? That makes you realize. I think we forget now that he's been around so long. He was young when he got into the UFC, correct?
Very, very young. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I just want to say this, and this sounds like I'm talking about myself, but I see this all the time. So I did an instant reaction video from Saudi Arabia saying how great Robert was. And anytime I tweet about him and all of it, everyone's like, oh yeah, you shouldn't have ducked him. You shouldn't have ducked him. Good job sidestepping him, you prick. I'll tell you exactly what happened for the record. I went into the octagon. I squared up with him. I had every goddamn intention of fighting the guy. Okay. We were going to coach the Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah.
I agreed to the terms and the conditions. Robert Whittaker didn't. I don't want to get into the contractual stuff, right? But for whatever reason, they couldn't come to an agreement, and everything moved on. All of a sudden, it was someone else, and then I hurt my knee and I had to have surgery, and then I fought George St. Pierre. So off.
Yeah. It's funny how people write their own narrative for that kind of stuff, right? They see Michael, he likes to talk, he likes to be brash. It clearly was his fault. He's clearly the bad guy.
Oh, it's always my fault. It's always my fault, Paul. It's always my fault. Come on. And a lot of the time it is, to be fair. All right. Today's episode is sponsored by Mando, which comes from the makers of Lumi deodorant. In a clinical study, men who showered with soap and used Mando whole body deodorant in their pits had an odor score of 0 out of 10 after 12 hours. Men who showered with soap alone had an armpit odor score of 8 out of 10 after 12 hours. Basically, they were smelling. Okay, and the reason being is that Mando controls body odor, the creation of it, wherever you stink, pits, package, feet beyond, for up to 72 hours, because it was created by a doctor who saw firsthand how normal BO was being misdiagnosed and mistreated. As I say, clinically proven to block odor and control odor for up to 72 hours. Baking soda free, paraben free, pH balance, so you can use it below the belt. And if you're a man that is of a sweaty disposition, if you're a man that does have a little bit of body odor issue, just handle it. Nothing to be embarrassed about. Get involved. Shop Mando.com. Use the code Bisping to get your hands on the new starter pack, and you will get up to 40% off. Okay, $5 off. That's equivalent to about 40% off the starter pack. Okay, in the starter pack, you will get the solid stick deodorant, the cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, like the mini body wash, deodorant wipes, etc., and free shipping. So, as I say, if you stink a little bit, go to shopmando.com. Use the code Bisping to get $5 off the starter pack. What else have we got? Should we do on the card? Shower a bullet. Sharafettin Magomedov. Give me your thoughts on that guy. I mean,
he's wild,
striking phenom.
The kicks. The guy kicks like most people box inside of the octagon. I mean, he uses lead legs. He's got axe kicks. He's got spinning kicks. He's got kicks from his back. He can jump up and kick you in the face. And most of his wrestling held up. He did have a pretty blatant fence grab that he got away with. But I think in hindsight, the way the fight was ticking along anyway, I mean, I think it was going to go his way, even if that takedown had happened. I think he'd have worked his way back up eventually. But man, what a fun new guy to have around, and what a crazy character, what a crazy look about him. It's like Dagestani pirate with red hair. I mean, I love all of it.
Yeah. And listen, we're what's the expression? The elephant in the room or something? What's the expression? Yeah. It's the eye, right? But you can clearly see, and Dana said himself, he probably might struggle. He said something to those words at the post-fight press conference. We'll probably keep
somewhere else
out here on this side of the world, because obviously they don't have the same kind of athletic commissions, I was keeping it very, very under wraps, and my eye looked nowhere. It does now. I have a prosthetic, but mine didn't look anywhere nearly as bad as Shara's.
Yeah, it's bad, man.
At the time, the poor guy. I mean, so it's inspirational, because I know firsthand how hard it is fighting with one eye, no depth perception, and for him to have that level of striking
and kick the way he does with one eye. Do you know what I mean? Like, do you think? I wonder if you think that has anything to do with why he has such a kicking game? Because obviously, when you're in close in boxing, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what'd be harder to use, but at least he can keep you away from being attacked as much with the hands if he uses such a high level of a kicking attack. But do you think it's the same exact issue you had then, Michael?
Yeah, well, I don't know how his was caused. I did read it, but I've forgotten. I'm not sure how his was caused, but to answer your question, that's not a bad idea, bad theory, pardon me, straight off the plane from Saudi. It's not a bad theory, but for me, even still, when I'm kicking the bag in the garage and stuff, sometimes I do like a side kick as the bag's swinging, and I end up snapping my knee because I'm nowhere near the bag and shit like that. You know what I mean? And sometimes I go in the bag and I'm hitting the bag, and I kind of miss, and then the room starts spinning and stuff. I mean, man. I'm a bit older.
Will it make you a little bit your equilibrium? Yeah.
100%. The worst part is as well, when you've got one eye walking out there, you know how it is. You're walking out, you're behind the curtain, you're about to make the walk. All the UFC people are there, the production people, and that, okay, walk, go. And they've got a camera this far from your face, beaming light, and that light is bright. Yeah. You know, and I'm like, I've only got one eye, you dickhead.
Yeah, don't take my other one from me.
Get that light out of my face, but you got to do it. So I'm like walking out like that. Hey, I look forward to his rise. I saw that Bo Nickel called him out.
I thought that was interesting.
Come on, Bo. What are you doing here?
He's like, oh, I want to take this guy down. No problem.
Yeah, exactly.
But, I mean, Bo's trying to get guys and build himself up. He's been pretty honest now that he's not exactly on that rise that I think everyone initially thought that he should be. And the guy's still only got, 6 fights? Does he even have that many fights yet?
6 or 7. It's not a lot. He's still an amateur. It's crazy. I do think Bo Nickel, though, will be potentially a champion one day.
Yeah. And I think it's smart, right? He sees a guy that just had an awesome fight, and it's like, yep, let me call that guy out with 0 wrestling.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's like, if I'm Shara Bullet, even if he could fight in New York City, I'd be like, no way, brother, this shit. No, you think I'm easy fight. All right, listen, we're going to talk about this one because oftentimes the co-host on this show is none other than Anthony Lionheart Smith. He will be competing at UFC 303 this weekend. It was supposed to be Carlos Solberg. Now it is Roman Dolidze. At this period in time, I will call for Brian McKay and Herringbone. I'd like to get you guys on here as well. Give me your thoughts, because I was shocked when they announced that Anthony was fighting on this card, first of all. I'm not going to lie. I had my concerns about the matchup. Carlos Solberg is streaking right now, 6-fight win streak, pinpoint accurate striker. Obviously had a full training camp. Anthony stepping up short notice. He was helping Jamal and all the rest of it. But this matchup, Roman Dolidze, I definitely favor Anthony to pull this one off. Paul Felder, first take, and then I'll let you two, give me your thoughts. Just jump in.
First and foremost, is this one, so this is at 205?
Yes.
So Dolidze is moving up to 205. Is it because this is all getting put together on short notice that these guys have agreed to go up a weight? And
Was Dolidze not 205 anyway?
No, just fought. He's an 85er, correct?
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
He was at 205.
He
was at 205 though, I think, when he came in.
Yeah.
The UFC, right. So it's not like he doesn't know how to. I think it's a fun fight. I mean, Dolidze, even though he's got unbelievable submissions and is scary on the ground, he has no issue standing and trading. And I think now that Anthony's got back in that win column, back with the confidence up, he loves these kind of moments. You know what I mean? I think these are the moments that favor a guy like Anthony Smith. Anything that's on short notice, anytime it can be in the biggest possible spotlight where he can walk around the cage. Did you ever notice that when he walks around the cage, he tries to stare as many people in the eyes as he can when he walks around the octagon before the fight? Yeah. Sometimes he'll catch my eyes. I'm like, bro, I got no beef with you right now. I'm here as your friend calling this fight. Dude, every time I seem to turn around, this dude is booking another fight.
Well, especially
he never wants to retire, Michael.
He went to great lengths. He went to great lengths to tell me that he's never doing this again. That he's never doing this again. He's going to be calculated now with his career, and he can't do this. If he's going to become a champion, he's going to make the right moves. This and Herringbone, I want to hear yours.
This is so far from moving towards the belt.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. Sadly, this isn't when he gets the win, because I favor him to win this matchup.
Yeah.
Dolidze's on a 2-fight losing streak, but he is a big, tough brawler. He's got nasty leg locks. He's a dog. He's a dog. He's not someone to take lightly, but I fancy Anthony, of course. The Dolidze fight, I was worried. This one, not so much, but it doesn't give him the same, the risk versus reward. He's still taking a risk, but there isn't much of a reward. Now, Harrington, please tell me what happens in this fight. You are the oracle when it comes to predictions.
Yeah, they call me Mystic Mike.
The oracle.
Man. I mean,
that oracle from 300. Remember that creepy oracle from the movie 300?
He does have a steaming vat of drugs in his house.
He's more like the oracle from The Matrix. Try not to bend the spoon.
Oh yeah, making the cookies.
Is impossible. Oh no, the oracle's that the old black lady. Anyway, yeah. There you go. Anyway, whatever.
She has been feeding him cookies.
Dude, this is tailor made for Anthony Smith. I mean, it's in any Roman Dolidze fight, I feel like it's just about who's the bigger dog in the fight, because he does turn it into a war. Because he is, as Paul said, just so damn tough. I feel like that's where Anthony shines, and I like it. I like it to be messy, and I like Anthony getting his hand raised emphatically in victory. And I disagree with you guys, because yeah, sure. I mean, it's not, I guess, as big as the Oldberg fight, but if he gets a finish on this card with Alex Pereira at the top of it, after a media day where he gets to talk about Alex Pereira all week, and the media gets to talk to him about Alex Pereira all week, I think this is setting up nicely for a good Anthony Smith weekend.
Yeah, you're right, actually.
Well, no, it'll continue. It'll continuate the beef. Okay, yeah. I'm sorry. I love Anthony, and I would love him to get a title fight. You don't get a title fight by beating Dolidze that's on a losing streak. But funnier things have happened. Brian, your take.
What the fuck am I going to add? You guys nailed it. I mean, I like Anthony in this fight. I think he's a bigger dude than Roman. I think I'm going to go with rear naked second round.
I was going to say, do you think it's a finish if Smith gets it done?
So I think Anthony on the feet is way better. He's got nice straight shots. Okay, he's got more skill. Dolidze is wild. He's just kind of unrefined, but he does have a lot of power. And at 205, he's going to have a lot of power as well. So Anthony's got to be careful, because Dolidze is coming in, basically nothing to lose, taking it on short notice. They're probably giving him a nice little backhand under the table, a little bonus, so it's a win-win situation for him, as it kind of was for Anthony. And, he's getting a nice little bump as well, I'm sure. But now it's against an easy opponent. So it's like, oh, great. But Dolidze, he's tricky on the ground. He's got some very, very interesting transitions. So I'm not saying Anthony can't win a fight on the ground. Of course he can. That's his background. He's got great jiu-jitsu. But Dolidze is a tricky, especially with the legs. I think on the feet, I think use jabs, 1-2, straight kicks, chip away at the calves, and just beat him up on the feet, I'd say.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of calf kicks actually in this one. I think they're going to beat the shit out of each other's legs, and I hope, as a matter of fact, that I'd like to see it hit the mat. Delice is so good, and he is tricky. I can also see him getting too tricky with a guy like Anthony with the legs, and Anthony starting to just pound the shit out of him. Do you know what I mean? Like if you start grabbing on Anthony Smith's legs, he knows damn well how to handle that stuff. And he's big and he's long, and he can start reaching. If you're trying to grab heel hooks and you don't have it and you're leaving your face wide open, that could be a perfect opportunity for Smith. But Delice also knows how to get him done when he grabs down there. So it's fun. It's definitely a fun fight. And I do agree with you guys that it is an opportunity. And I agree with you, Michael, that I don't think it gets you the title fight, but it does at least give you an opportunity to badger the shit out of the, potentially current champ still after Saturday night.
Oh, for sure.
If it ends up being, God forbid, Yuri, I mean, Anthony hasn't fought Yuri, right? It opens up opportunities there too. So he should just be going at both those guys the whole weekend.
100%. And, when he gets the win, get on the microphone and just cut an insane promo. Yeah. Just be like, Pereira, you're a one-dimensional dickhead. Okay. You won't take me. You're fighting other kickboxers. Prove that you're a real mixed martial artist. Fight me. Because you haven't fought a grappler yet. Jamal Hill, and just list up all the opponents. They can't grapple. I will take you down. I will submit you. Be a man. Fight me. Something like that.
You're chomping a debate. You're going old. You're going right back into the count. The count's coming out. You're like, I know what I'd say to this dude.
Yeah. Come on. I'm not the one that's going to step in the ring with him, though. Herringbone, give us a non-MMA story, please.
Okay. I think since the next big UFC out of the country is going to be UFC 304 in Manchester, they better get things sorted out because yesterday they had.
Are you going to Manchester, Paul?
No. Oh, I wish. I'm so upset about that. I don't even want to talk about it.
All right.
Talk about it.
We won't talk about that. But Herringbone, what have you got?
Skip me.
I did.
You might have dodged a bullet, Paul, because I don't know if you heard yesterday, their airport, the power to it was cut, which canceled. I think it was over 100 flights total. People were left they were unable to come in for arrivals. They had to be diverted to other airports. People were driving to London to get airplanes out. People who were able to board flights were told they couldn't check any of their baggage, only carry-ons, because the system couldn't log what was being checked. So an absolute mess heading into the summer holidays in Manchester.
Well, we got any look.
This is like a secret circle of hell.
God, by the way, that is nightmare fuel for me, is lines like that and things like that at airports or coming through customs and all that. Like, I just want to start punching myself in the face when I'm in those situations. I hate it.
Yeah. Let me tell you this right now. And anyone that works, and the people of Manchester are the nicest people. Can also be some of the rudest as well, which is what I love about them. They're real. Manchester Airport is the worst airport on planet fucking Earth. I am telling you, it's terrible. Nothing works. Okay. When you get off the plane to wait for your bag, it's a small airport. It's a small flight that I'm getting from London to Manchester. It takes about 2 hours. Okay. How does it take you that long to get 17 bags and put it on a carousel? It takes forever. You walk into checking for a flight, packed.
Dude.
Just hundreds of people everywhere. And it goes so slow.
Yeah.
And some of the staff are just bloody awful, man.
It's Philly. Reminds me of the Philly airport. As big as the city is, you'd think they'd have it all together. It's the same thing. All the security lines are massive. If you're flying, God forbid you're flying American Airlines and you land in Philadelphia and you had checked the bag, same thing, Mike. You're going to be waiting at least an hour for that bag. It just doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, so I try and avoid it whenever I can. But obviously, we're going to Manchester, so, won't be doing that this time. A quick story. I might have said it before on the pod, so I apologize. I was coming through, I was leaving out of Manchester Airport, and here's what they do. They mess things up, right? So they printed off 2 boarding passes they printed off 2 of my son's boarding passes instead of my wife and my son. There was all 5 of us as a family. But when we tried to go through security, they were like, no, the boarding passes, The first part, you show the boarding pass, and then you walk over to like where you take shoes off and stuff. So she runs off. We're already kind of late. We were cutting it fine. There was loads of traffic. The check-in process took forever. And we're like, well, I said, right, babe, I'm going to go through security with the kids, get the shoes off and everything. We'll wait for you there. She's taking forever. I'm like, what's going on? She's like, yeah, I've got to wait in line and stuff. So I'm all frazzled. I'm like, we're going to miss this flight. And I'm telling the kids, shoes off, come on, get a move on and all the rest of it. And the TSA guy, he was kind of a jerk. It just in his tone. I forget what he said, but he said something. He was kind of dickish. So I'm like, all right. I said, there's no need to be a dick about it. And he goes, that's all I said. There's no need to be a dick about it. He goes, give me your passport. I said, excuse me? He said, give me your passport. I said, no. He said, are you refusing to give me your passport? I'm like, I know how that ends. I'm like, all right. Yeah. I give him my passport. He's like, right, you're not getting on that flight. I said, what for? He said, because you swore at me. I said, I didn't swear at you. I said, there's no need to be a dick. It's not like I called you a wanker. I said, there's no need to be a dick. There's definitely a distinction there. Would you agree?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Dude, those guys are always going to take the opportunity to prove and show you that they've got power. So,
oh yeah. So
where does this go? Did you get on the flight?
Oh, we got on the flight, yeah, but not before we had a major issue. Do you know what I mean? So then, so Rebecca eventually comes over. She's like, "What's going on?" And the guy's like, "Well, he's not boarding the plane because this, that, and the other." And I'm like, "But when we were checking in, right?" The person that we were dealing with that checked us in was like the nicest person. And we were talking to him and, blah, 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 blah. He turned out to be like the most senior person with the airline. So it just turns out, doesn't it? You got to be nice to people because we were chatting away and blah, 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 blah. But before we got to that point, I'm kind of being a jerk with the guy, because now we're saying we're not getting on the plane. And I'm like, oh, well, good. I said, I hope you sleep well tonight, mate. I hope you sleep well on your little power trip that you stopped a family from getting on the plane. He says, sir, we'll call the police. I said, well, go ahead. Call the police. Please do. I said, you're telling me you're going to call. What are you going to say? What are you going to say? We have a customer here that said there's no need to be a dick about it. I said, the police are busy out there, hopefully, trying to solve serious crimes. But your feelings are hurt because I said there's no need to be. I said, be my guest. Please. Yeah. I would love to see you call the police.
I'm sure they'd be thrilled when they showed up.
Yeah, and they were like, what's that? Bisping, can we get an autograph?
That'd be best. That's the best case scenario. Yeah. That's like we were just in where were we just in oh my God, I forget we were just in what southern state were we just in for the UFC?
St. Louis, Kentucky.
Kentucky, yeah.
Louisville.
Real quick, we go out to the spot afterwards. We're hanging out. We're trying to grab a drink, and instead of walking in the front door, we walked into like the back patio area. And this guy sees us. We eye up a table. There's not many people out there, and the guy goes, "Oh, wait! You got to go back in the front, talk to the host, and wait in line. People are in line for that table." And we look at the guy. I was like, okay, sheriff. And we walked out. We went into the front. We talked to the host. Where do you think he ended up putting us?
At that table.
Right at that table. And I sat down. I was like, man, that took forever, dude. I can't believe that we got this table. Thanks, man. Oh, yeah. And then the whole time I just kept looking at Laura and I kept looking. I was like, anybody else still want to punch this guy in the face? Anyway.
Yeah. Oh, no, I feel you, buddy. There's some very, very rude people. There's no need for it. Contrary to popular belief, I like to treat people well. That's why the person that checked us in turns out had a real good position of authority. And he walked over and said, what's going on here? And he was like, no. This family are great. I messed up. I printed off 2 wrong boarding tickets. They're late for their flight. Okay. So there's no issue here whatsoever. You stand down, whatever. And he walked us personally onto the plane, apologized. And I was like, fuck you, dickhead.
Yeah. Smiling at him.
Oh, well, thank you very much. So anyway, people of Manchester, I do feel for you because all the flights being cancelled and stuff, working class people, I know how it is in England. It's probably the same in the States. They save up all year for that 2 weeks in the sun You know, I know it's a little different in the States because you don't fly off to Europe and all the rest of it. But, you know, they save up all week. They put a little money to one side. They tell the kids, you know, they're out buying new bikinis and stuff for the beach and all the rest of it. And they're full of excitement when you get to the airport. And the airport has a goddamn power cut. You know what I mean?
Horrible. Horrible.
Terrible. Herringbone, there's actually a story in the notes related to that.
Yeah, there is. So while, as you said, the English do, tend to save up for those 2 weeks out fun in the sun, Americans, meanwhile, take less vacation days than anyone on the planet, according to Expedia. The United States complains about, they complain about not having enough time off, yet 57% of them don't use all their days off and just leave them to rot away. They said over their lifetime, Americans will let up to 45 vacation days lapse.
I'm not an American. I don't work in that kind of system. What's going on, Paul?
People just like to complain, right? So even though there's days off that they could be using, they'll just complain that they don't have enough days off. And it doesn't matter what you do. People here like to just bitch about their job. And even though they got time that they could take away from it, they're going to go and do it anyway. But the American workforce and the mindset here definitely is just put my head down. I just got to grind away. And we need to kind of capitalize on some more vacation stuff. I know I do. I'm terrible about taking vacations. Like I look at work trips as basically vacations because we have to go all over the place, but it's not family vacation. So I can't talk on this subject as I am one that doesn't, but I don't have days off. You know what I mean? Like today I just was home with my family because it's kind of like my job is either all in away or all in at home.
Well, that's a new thing for me. I'm insistent. We were doing lots of holidays. You know, I'm like, whatever, I'm earning some good money. Might as well make the memories. Gonna be dead soon. You know what I'm saying? So bollocks. Gonna be dead soon. I'm falling apart. I've got 3 surgeries scheduled. Fuck it. But I can say this. I am impressed on one side and kind of confused. I mean, because Americans, it's a great thing. It is the work ethic. Yeah. It's through the roof. You don't stop. Like in England, and I've said this many times, when it's Christmas, the country shuts down for 2 weeks. That's it. Everyone stocks up. Do you know what I mean? They fill the cupboards and the fridge with food and snacks and beers and drinks and everything, and that's it. People very rarely even leave the house unless they just go to the pub. Here, I mean, our neighbors, they're still doing fun runs on Christmas morning. And then would be Boxing Day in the UK? You guys are all straight back at it. Boom. 4 a.m. in the gym doing your cardio kickboxing or your Pilates, and then they're off to the office. I'm like, fuck this.
Getting their 20-ounce coffees and, morning Red Bulls and Monster Energy drinks and having heart issues.
As I say, you got to respect that, the work ethic, of course. But, there's a happy medium. Yes,
I agree. More vacation.
Yeah, let's all take more vacations. Herringbone, let's have a look then in the world of mixed martial arts. Is there anything else from the fight card that caught your eye at the weekend, Felder, before we move on?
From this past one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought Jarrett Gordon won.
Shit, yeah, let's talk about that, yeah.
Now, I thought, first and foremost, I have nothing against, I know Jarrett's my boy, and I'm always going to be biased, right? So I immediately was like reaching out to other people to see what they thought. It was a close fight. There's no doubt about it. They beat the crap out of each other, especially that third round. They just basically stood in front of each other and boxed each other's faces off. But I just thought the volume was there. The pressure was there for Jarrett, and it just really sucks to see a friend, that, I mean, dude, I almost threw some shit through the TV on that one because I said it to Christine, my wife. As soon as the fight was over, I said, it's going to be a split decision. They're going to give it to him. And sure enough, that's exactly how it went down. And he's just been there so many times, man. He's that guy that no matter what he does, he can't seem to catch a break in this freaking sport. And it sucks.
No, I totally agree. Listen, was it fight of the night? Because it was definitely one of the best fights of the night.
I don't know. I think, Dana, it was one of those nights there were so many finishes. He gave out all performance bonuses. I've been there too, where you're part of the fight of the night and then you don't get it because there's so many other good finishes that you get kind of left behind. That's the worst, man.
Yeah,
that's the worst. You're like, oh,
because that softens the blow. It
helps.
The blow.
It does help. I mean, it does. You get $50,000 to lose a fight. It helps because you're getting a second check, even though you want 3 checks for that situation. But shit, getting 2 versus 1 definitely makes things easier for you and the family.
It is a shame for Jared because, I mean, I know you two are really tight. He's coming on the show on Thursday. I asked him for today, but I think he's just
banged up. Yeah, he's banged up.
He'll be banged. Well, I'm not surprised. That fight, I mean, they first of all, both be proud of themselves.
Yeah,
they stood.
And that's why I'm not trying to be mad at Nasrat. But
they banged it out. And Nasrat Haqparast, that man can crack. He's dangerous. Jared showed that he's got a tremendous chin. I mean, his boxing has improved so much. You know, that was a really fun, entertaining fight. It was kind of a close one. I know you've got Jared. It was one of those. I mean, you could probably make an argument both ways. I was commentating, so I wasn't paying that much attention. It's
tough when you're commentating. I know that. And it's tough when you're friends with the guy. And that's why I didn't make a big stink. I didn't go on social media and make a big stink. But in my heart, I felt like he got it. And it's just, I wanted to give him a shout out on here. And I'm glad to hear that you tried to talk to him. You might get him on because, he's got a great story, and he's like, what do I do? I was like, bro, you heal up and you go back out there. You were in yet another awesome fight. The UFC is going to know that it was razor close. You could have gone either way, and you bring it. You keep bringing it like that, they're going to keep giving you fights.
Without question. He's coming on the show Thursday, so we'll hear from him.
Awesome.
But I think. I mean, when you look at him, I mean, obviously we all know the story. He's been very honest about, his background and stuff like that. So what he's overcome in life is so inspirational to a lot of people. But where he's at and the improvements that he continues to make is unreal. He has been unlucky. Of course, there was the Paddy Pimblett fight. A lot of people universally pretty much felt like he was robbed there. Then the Bobby Green situation, which again was really, really unfortunate. They were having a decent fight and a clash of heads, I love Bobby. I'm not taking anything away from him, but it's unfortunate if you're Jared has that tremendous win at Madison Square Garden, knocks out Madsen, and then puts on that display, which I thought was a tremendous fight, really was, and then it didn't go his way. So lots to be positive about, though.
Yeah, I agree, and that's what I told him. I was like, man, you looked great. You were in the fight of the night, probably just didn't get the bonus for it, which is tough. It's tough when there's so many big moments in a fight night. It happens. But again, dude, back to the drawing board, go hang out with the wife, enjoy Florida and get back into a camp. Once you're healed up, take time, and hopefully a cool matchup comes his way next. He spent a lot of time in Dubai too. Like he did all the things that you want to see a fighter do. He spent like a month out there training, at that one main gym there in Dubai. And, yeah. Anyway, but it was a great fight.
He's looking good. Unlucky to him. And it's great to see you're such a loyal friend, Paul, because I know I've seen it. No, you do. You get mad. You get pissed off, and I think that's missing, passion and support for friends like that. I love to see that.
It's so hard, man. And because he's a guy that I was around for a lot of the drama that he went through when he was trying to get clean, and then he was clean and he was back on it. And, we all used to go out to Cowboys Ranch and live together and train together. So he's that one guy that I think even moving forward, I don't think the UFC or Zach would even have me call his fights, because it's a strange connection when you see a guy go through all those things and then you see him start to succeed. Like I can't call that fight evenly. And I got in trouble for it with Bobby, and I had to apologize to Bobby Green because I was so pissed off about the headbutt. And now me and Bobby are totally fine afterwards.
You are?
Yeah. Oh yeah. We chatted it out, and we talked.
Because Bobby is the coolest. Forever.
Yeah, and exactly. And dude, and that was what pissed me off. About that matchup. I was upset about that matchup to begin with, because I also really like Bobby Green as a fighter and always have. As a matter of fact, I'm surprised. I was always surprised that we never got put together, because I thought back in the day that would have been a crazy fight. But I was always a big Bobby Green fan, and then I had to admit, like, hey man, yeah, it's tough for me to call Jared Gordon's fights, no matter who you are on the other side. I'm going to
So I asked, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I asked Jared this the other day because obviously he's in the unique perspective of fighting both Bobby and Paddy Pimblett, you know, so, and we're commentating the fight. Sorry, I'm commentating the fight. My bad. Sorry, Paul, didn't mean to rub it in. You'll get over it.
Or at least you think you are until you get to that airport and you never allowed to leave.
Airport. So
you may be living in Manchester again, Michael.
Yeah. I said, who do you think wins that fight? Jared.
Yeah.
And he has Paddy Pimblett beating Bobby Green, which I thought was kind of interesting. That's why I asked him, because when they fight, obviously there's one man that's fought them both.
Yeah.
I wanted to know, not stirring any shit either way. I was just genuinely curious of his assessment. And he said he thinks that Paddy's going to have the ability to take him down eventually. He'll wear on him. He'll get him down eventually. And he thinks he can probably submit him, which I thought was interesting because Bobby has tremendous takedown defense and he's explosive and he's fast. He's a little risky with the hands low and stuff like that. But what do you think?
I mean, I am leaning towards the other side, but I do think Jarrett's got a point that if Paddy can stay safe on the feet, and gets it to the ground, I think he'll do all right. But if Bobby fights the way he's been fighting with the rhythm that he's fighting at and the way he's throwing combinations, I think Paddy's going to get his face chewed off for a while, honestly.
He might do. Yeah.
But who the hell knows, man, with this sport. But that's where I'm leaning. When I saw that matchup, I was like, I don't know if it's a good one for Paddy to be doing that in England. But he's got to step it up. And I do think it is an appropriate step up where it's like eventually you got to face the guy that people maybe doubt that you can beat. And that's how you prove to people that you're better than they thought you were. And he needs that right now, right? He had that Tony fight, not really the craziest. He had the Jared fight. A lot of people don't think he wins. If he goes out there and beats Bobby Green, who's looked good in his last couple of fights and is dangerous, he's brass, he goes out there, he talks shit, he brings it to you. It's a big step up for Paddy.
100%. Right, this episode is sponsored by Choq. That is CHOQ.com. That specialize in an all-natural testosterone booster. I always talk about it, but men's testosterone levels are at an all-time low. Your testosterone is dropping every single year. Certainly if you're in your 30s and 40s, the stuff that makes you a man is slowly going away. So you got to top it up, and you want to do it in a natural fashion, and you want to do it with a product that actually works. Now, Choq has created a new natural testosterone booster, and I prefer Choq above the rest because, well, number one, it works. Supplement industry is full of weak and trashy, dirty supplements. The guys at Choq are proud to stand above the rest in clean, pure, and healthy products. They use full disclosure labeling. You know exactly what is going in there. There's no label fluffing. There's no underdosing. And Choq Daily is the cleanest research-based testosterone booster available on the market. And along with Choq Daily, check out their Male Vitality Stack and the Stack Ultra. Oh, and by the way, when you go to the website, choq.com, CHOQ.com. Use the code Bisping. You will get 35% off your entire order. As I say, if you're getting a little bit older, just give yourself a little boost, okay? Do that with Choq. You know, get the gains that you want. Lose the flab, lose the fat, get in shape, feel great, have more energy, increase the libido. Do it all by going to choq.com. The promo code is Bisping for 35% off. So, you never know if you're going to win a fight. Right. Yeah. You step up, you never know. And when you're in a relationship, you think it's both ways, right? You love her. You think that she loves you. You tell each other that you love her. And you're an MMA fighter. You go out there, you fight. I think the guy lost. And then he fucking calls his girlfriend into the octagon, proposes to her because he thinks we're in love. This is going to seal the deal. And she says, no. Can we play this video, please, Brian? Because I still haven't seen the whole thing. That's why I said, I think he lost the fight, but I just saw the headline. Oh, God. He lost bad.
He lost all the fights, Michael.
It's never a good sign. he's crushed. I don't speak Russian, but I'm pretty sure she said no.
Do you think it's the hair color that maybe she was like, you shouldn't have went with pink?
Well, yeah, because I think, right, I don't speak Russian. I don't know these people, but there's a certain type of girl out there that likes a wild man. There's a certain type of girl that wants the MMA fighter with the tattoos and the crazy hair and all the rest of it. Go on a wild ride, have some fun, fly to a few different locations, kick some ass, be with the sexy fighter. He's got a six-pack and all the rest of it. But I don't want to spend the rest of my life with a crazy bastard. And certainly, if he can't win the fight. Yeah. So the crazy, and I don't know, I'm being silly, but that's probably not a bad assumption.
So
Brian?
It turns out that she found out he was cheating on her, and she told him in the octagon.
Oh,
was
no
like,
way.
After everything that's happened.
So there's more levels to it than we even thought originally.
So what she said was, after everything that's happened, I don't think so. You cheated on me with name. You slept with her. And then the whole crowd went nuts.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God. I shouldn't laugh.
Bro,
that guy's having a bad time.
You gotta know your situation when you're gonna pull a ring out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, win the fight. If you don't, maybe you just wait. Maybe you wait.
Kill the proposal.
Yeah.
You want to do that?
Cut that.
Brian, did he lose by knockout or submission? Did he get finished? Or was it like a heroic, won the crowd over, had a moral victory, split decision, lost, but my God, he showed some courage. If one of them, maybe, probably not still. But when you lose the fight, you don't call your girl in and propose then. The vibe was gone, okay? It ain't no marrying
The vibe
time.
is very gone. Very, very gone.
For fuck's sake. No wonder the crowd shit the bed.
Oh man, could you imagine being there and seeing that in real life at a US show where a guy's like, all right, I lost, but let me try this anyway. She's like, I saw you with so-and-so last week. Get the fuck out of here.
Imagine going home and people are like, so how did the fight go? Well, turns out
just check TikTok. Just go open Twitter.
She said,
I gotta go crawl into a cave now. I've
been embarrassed internationally. Even that prick Michael Bisping's talking about me on my podcast. I've never even met him.
Hey, this might help him. This might help him if he finds out he's on this podcast. He might be like, well, at least I was on Mike's podcast.
And she's dumped me. Do you know what I mean? That's like, it's bad enough losing a fight.
And it turns out she left with the guy that beat him.
Oh, for crying out loud.
No, I'm making that part up.
Yeah, no, but it adds to the story though. We'll just pretend it's true.
The movie version, that's what happens. Yeah.
You just got to know, as you said, read the room. If you lose a fight, read the room. Read the room, bro. You've just been beaten. It's not, you're not looking like the sexiest catch right now.
No.
You know?
And it doesn't look like he ever was anyway to begin with, but
the pink hair is bad. It
gets better.
Oh, there's more.
He lost a 2-versus-1 fight.
Was he the 2?
Yeah.
Oh!
He was a part of 2. He was part of the 2.
Oh yeah, he was 2-on-1 and they lost.
Yeah, my God! So him and his buddy. Go on, bro. Go on, Harry.
Horvath Corleone and Lucas Bukowski. That's his name. Yeah, it was 2 of them versus 1 guy, and they got smoked.
Hold on, is one of those guys Lucas Bukowski? I know that name.
Well, we have
Bukavaz. Harrington doesn't say words right.
Yeah. So you and your buddy basically couldn't take out 1 guy, right? That's embarrassing. You lost.
And then you think you're going to propose afterwards. This guy's
idiot.
Yeah, he deserves that one.
He deserves everything that comes his way. And he's got bright, fluorescent, neon pink hair.
Yeah.
It doesn't say who tapped, but it was a first-round submission victory.
Oh, he tapped as well. He tapped out.
Man.
Oh, God.
Where do you go, man? You go to witness protection program after that one.
Oh, yeah. He's got to go to another country. The problem is he's Russian. Visa situations.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere, man.
He's got to change.
Although Putin might see that and be like, you know what? Actually, he does have to go. We don't need any more guys like that.
He's sending the hit squad round for him. He's like, he's not.
Yeah, you're gone, bud. We don't need you in this country.
On the very rare chance that you see this, we're joking, buddy. Of course. And commiserations. And there's plenty of fish in the sea. And you can get better at fighting with training, but get a grip.
Stop doing 2-on-1s. Stop doing 2-on-1.
Oh, my God. Jesus. Real quick, before we let you go, we've hopefully got Mike Perry, hopefully got Daniel Rodriguez joining us soon as well. You never know with these MMA fighters.
No, you don't. No,
you discuss.
You don't.
We go back and forth.
Yeah.
We DM, we text. I get their email addresses,
And
but you never know.
It's just like, I'm not around. Sorry. It's like, what?
Changed my mind.
What?
Went to the
we got
pub.
schedules, man. Went to the.
It's like,
what time is it? Is it beer o'clock here? It's almost beer o'clock.
I didn't feel like it at that moment in time. You know, I get it. You're training for fights. Mike Perry's fighting Jake Paul.
That's crazy, man. I like that for Mike Perry. Talk about a guy that never really could get to the tippy top of the UFC welterweight division. It was always fun. We always loved talking about Mike Perry. Loved seeing what was next for him. But man, as soon as he started doing boxing and bare knuckle, he found his stride, no doubt about it. And it makes sense. You look at the way Mike Perry fought. I've been punched. Where's it at? Which one? I mean, I still got a nasty scar on the side of my head from that guy's knuckles. So good for him. He's doing damn well.
He's doing well. He's making a lot of money as well. Was it bare knuckle at the weekend? Hold on. Was it bare knuckle as well? I think it was. We've got a video of it, Brian, I think. At the weekend, there was bare knuckle. One guy loses, gets knocked out, and then he starts going after the referee.
In bare knuckle? See, that's dangerous.
Well, it is. I mean,
it happens in MMA. It's like, got some gloves on. They usually try to grapple you in MMA.
Yeah. In MMA, a lot of the time, the takedown defense from the ref has come in. You know, they're trying to grab a single leg and all the rest of it.
We might be done. We have a new world champion. It is Alberto Blas.
Oh, wow.
Richardson is trying to fight Sam Burgos. He has absolutely no idea what is happening.
And that is not him trying to be a bad sport. He just thinks he's still fighting. He doesn't know what's happening.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Play that again, Brian. I want to get another look. I think he knew the fight was low. Hold on. You know that's the. Because at that point, right, I'm assuming he was taking a beating. There's a reason why the referee stepped in. But I think he was mad because the way that he was able to go at the ref, he was on balance. He wasn't stumbling. He was throwing good shots. He was moving his head and stuff. He was looking technical as hell. And I think in his mind, and I didn't even see the event. So, I could be way off the mark. But he was like, you prick, you stopped the fight. I'm still good to go. I'm going to take it out on you. Bearing in mind, this is bare knuckle boxing, guys. You know what I mean?
Maybe he was just like, this is a good opportunity to punch this dude in the face a little bit.
I found a slightly longer clip with the actual shots on it.
Oh, good.
Was he hurt bad?
It looked like an early stoppage from what I could see. The guy does a backflip. Look.
Oh, I'd be mad too.
Yeah. Just to rub it in your face.
I don't know. Because if he was more with it, I think he might have been trying to still go after that other guy, right? He's going at the ref like he's still in the mix of that exchange.
What's more embarrassing? A dude coming up, beating you up, referee stops it. Whilst you're attacking the referee, your opponent's doing backflips of celebration. Or proposing.
It's the proposal. It's the proposal.
Proposing to your girlfriend and she says, off.
I knew exactly where you were going right from when you're like, what's worse? It's the proposal. Hands down.
It's
you
definitely
lose
the proposal.
You and your boy lost a submission. You lost by submission to one dude. And then you thought it was a good idea to propose to your girl that you've been cheating on. Man.
And if he proposed to her, there's a good chance that they already live together in this modern day. It's like he's going.
Do you think he goes back to the other girl and he's like, "Hey, maybe we can work it out"? And she's like, "I saw it too." No, you just lost by submission in a 2-on-1.
No
Get
way.
out of here.
No way. Take your little partner.
You told me you were a real MMA fighter, not a 2-on-1 guy.
Yeah, a 2-on-1. You can't even win. Get the flip out of here. My God. Oh dear, Harrington. Is there anything else before we let Paul Felder get out of here? Paul, I've had a good laugh here, mate. Harrington, are you? Go on.
I saw some of the clips that we were maybe going to talk about, and I was hoping so bad that it would. I don't even think I knew that proposal one was on there, but I'm truly glad that we got to discuss that on today's show. 303's looking awesome. Saudi Arabia was awesome, but really I wanted to get on here to talk about the proposal and the MMA fighter. Let's be real with ourselves.
I mean, let's talk about the real stuff here. I'm just trying to see if there's like a funny story we can talk about. Harrington, are you there? Do you exist?
Yeah, of course. I'm scouring my notes with a fine tooth comb for something.
Ask Paul what he thinks about these new Nike shoes or Nike.
Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about.
I knew you would. I put it in the notes. I said, Felder's on today. Bring this up. Go on, set the stage, Harrington, for the non-producers.
So Nike and Hyperice have, they've joined up on a collab. They have these new shoes that can either heat or cool your foot based on, what part of it, and apply pressure, which essentially means you can have a heated massage while you're walking around. So if you see it's Nike X Hyperice looking, go one more to the side.
Sign me.
You got. I was going to say they don't look bad. Go push to the side, Brian. Let's have a look at the next slide.
Yeah, look at that. See, it's got heating, cooling. It's got, I think that's Wi-Fi that it's connected to.
Oh, and then, no way.
The pressure point
no
way.
Yeah.
Wi-Fi.
Oh, yeah.
It's Back to the Future. Back to the Future 2. 100%. I want a pair. Hyperice. I'm going to say this. Hyperice, they've been so kind to me. They have sent me some like massage stuff over the years. I might not have posted enough on social. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
But I'm grateful.
Michael, me and you both.
Well, because they're so generous. They send a lot of shit. I'm like,
they do, bro. They are not afraid to send good, awesome stuff. And you're right. Maybe. So here it is. This is us. Hyperice, you guys rock. Your products are the best.
The best. I was so blown away with the quality of their stuff. I forgot about posting. But they look sick. Okay. I want a pair of them. Hyperice, send me some. We're going to do a full breakdown. Me and Paul Felder will do a video on them, talking about them. Because I tell you what, if there's one part of me that suffers, Paul, I tell you what, when I get in bed at night, I use my other foot and I'm like massaging my own feet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And as a man that runs 7,000 miles a week, I'm sure you experience the same thing.
Yeah. My feet are always killing me. When I get out of bed in the morning and I go to walk down the steps, I have to do one step at a time almost every single morning. It takes my feet a while to warm up. So if I could go throw those bad boys on, take the dog for a walk, and my massage vibrating cool Nike / Hyperice / heating cooling units, it'd be great. It'd be great.
Now I have a wife. I'm a very lucky man, as you are, Paul. I have a lady in my life. Of course I do. And she's great. And she cooks for me, and she cleans, and she does my laundry. And she does anything I want, really. Not that I'm saying that she's my personal slave. It's not like that at all. I'm saying, but we got a traditional relationship, and she's a fantastic wife. But she won't give me a fucking foot massage.
No.
She draws the line. I mean, sometimes she'll do it for a minute, and she's like, that's your lot. That's your lot. She doesn't like, let's get the creams out.
Oh, no.
And really fucking get in there.
No, there's no foot massages going on in this household either, Michael. So that's why we need the Hyperice Nike shoe. I mean, there's no question. That is why. Life is good. Something has been missing in my life, and I didn't know it was the Hyperice Nike shoe until today.
The only thing that could make my life better right now is the Hyperice Nike shoe.
I was like, things are good. Things are good.
But Wi-Fi.
Well, that's important. That's
5G.
Important. Yeah, I mean, naturally. Did you know that it means 5th generation? I didn't know that.
Oh, Jesus
I didn't know what the G meant. What?
5G, 5th generation. Did it really?
Yeah, it's all like 3G, 4G was apparently generation.
It kind of makes sense when you break it down.
Yeah, now it does. I'm like, oh, duh.
Now, hey, you cracked the code, Paul.
I know.
All right, okay. Looks like Daniel Rodriguez isn't joining us. I'm filling time here. He's 3 minutes late.
Oh man. I mean, and I don't mean this in a mean way, but Daniel strikes me as a guy who might be a few minutes late to some things every now and then.
Why? Because he's covered in tattoos. Because he's got a teardrop tattoo on his face.
He's got a kiss. He's got a kissy lips tattooed on his face.
He might have murdered some people.
Maybe.
He's been in prison multiple times. That's very judgmental of you to think that his punctuation wouldn't be perfect.
It just seems like that might be the thing. Very nice guy, though. Very nice guy.
Just flew back from Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, maybe a little tired. Maybe caught a nap. Maybe caught a nap.
I didn't know you were so judgmental, Paul.
It's because I don't have a hyper ice shoe to calm me down.
It is. How are you meant to think properly?
Yeah, without a vibrating Nike shoe.
When I saw those shoes, though, I was like, I need them.
Yeah, because it's my feet. Like, I have the boots, and I love the boots, but sometimes I just want it to be on my damn feet and ankles because that's what's killing me, and that is what those things would do.
Yeah. I had a bit of a nightmare coming back from Saudi. My knee was killing, and it still is. I stand up. Can you see that swelling there? See that swelling?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I've got 2 total knee replacements. You can see the scars.
Oh, man. Do you just get fluid in there sometimes?
It's full of fluid, and it's painful. I was like, And then I sat down with someone else that had a knee replacement in Saudi, and they were like, "Oh, mine's failed. I've got to have the whole thing redone." I'm like, So I've been messaging all morning. Yeah, I'm like, he's like, "Oh, we'll just come in, we'll take a look at it." I'm like, "What about if I get a hyperized Nike boot? Will that fix it?" He's like, "That's your feet, dickhead."
No. That'll fix it all, man, because it starts at the feet, pushes the blood up to the knee, regulates the body, gets the cool temperatures going.
I think a high-priced Nike boot will actually improve your punches because it starts on the ground and the transfer of energy. You know what I mean? You up the leg, through the hips, down there.
I mean, if they want, I'd be willing to do a study on that, if they sent me the right amount of product.
The high-priced Nike boot will change the face of sports as we know it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, I do actually believe that Daniel Rodriguez is waiting in the wings. So at this point, Paul, and I think we've gone over our allotted time anyway, so I do apologize.
Oh, I've had too much fun talking proposals, hyper ice, fights, pay-per-views, and you got to talk to this man now. So I appreciate the time. I'm going to go have a beer, Michael, and put on my hyper ice compression boots while I wait for my Nike compression shoes to show in the mail any day.
I'm going to send them this episode in a DM and say, "Hey, listen,
I think you should.
I'm going to.
We promoted the hell out of you in this show.
I'll do anything for free. I'm a bootlicker. We know this. Come on.
Yeah, come on. That's right. I heard that about you.
Yeah, exactly. Paul, honestly, man, thank you very much. That was brilliant.
Thanks, dude. Anytime, buddy.
Fresh from Saudi Arabia. Freezing up. Oh, there you go. You're back. How are you, buddy?
Good, man. Good. Just landed last night, and got a good night's sleep. So feeling great.
Hey, thanks for coming on, man, because number one, you just fought, right? And there's a lot to discuss there. And that travel from Saudi Arabia, it's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, it was, man. It was a lot different than the ride there. I got to drink a little bit on the plane, so I got to enjoy myself, So it wasn't so bad. It wasn't so bad.
What's the drink of choice?
I was just drinking beer, man. Just had a couple of beers, watched some movies, and I really couldn't wait to get back.
Yeah, of course. Right, listen. So let's get to the important stuff. You're in Saudi Arabia. You're fighting Kelvin Gastellum, big name opponent, and he comes in a little bigger than what he was scheduled to be. We spoke on Thursday at the fighter meetings, and I knew then that you were really, really pissed off. But yeah, give me your thoughts. Explain the situation for people that weren't present.
Yeah, man. I showed up fight week. Came in. I wanted to have like an easy weight cut, so I was really strict on that. And I did all the whole media thing. I was still feeling good, and I had a great camp. And so it was day before. It was the day of the hard weight cut. So I was only going to cut like 7 pounds that day. and maybe like float off a pound during sleep or whatever, and it would have been easy. It would have been a breeze. So it's 11 a.m. and I get a call from Sean Shelby, and he's like, "Yo," he's like, "Kelvin's not gonna make weight," and I'm like, you know, I knew it was something when I saw his name. I'm like, oh man, you know, this can't be good. So so he's like, yo, man, he's like, we need this fight to happen. I was like, shit, I need this fight to happen, bro. You know, like I already flew all the way out here. You know, and I'm like, well, where's he at? I was like, they're trying to do it at 85. I'm like, bro, I weigh 179 right now. You know, I'm in the 70s, and I'm you know, I'm ready to cut weight. And he's like, man, we need this fight to happen. I was like, all right. I was like, man, well, let me talk to the team, and I'll get back to you, you know. So right away, I'm calling my manager, and he's not answering, and I'm like, damn, like, put me I'm like in a tough spot, a rough spot. It's this decision making time right now, and I'm like, so I call him back, and I was like, well, what about 80, you know, or like. Because I'm thinking, well, how off is he? You know, like, because we wanted him to miss weight. You know, we were expecting him to have a hard weight cut, because I know the guy. I know he.
You
like,
want him to suffer just like
Yeah.
you're doing.
Yeah. So we're like, all right, cool. Like, I guarantee that he's gonna be drained. You know, but in the back of my mind, we wanted him to miss weight, and we were hoping for. I was like, yeah, that'd be dope if he comes in and can't make weight, get some of his fight purse, you know. So, and they're like, nah, they're like, he can't do 80, and I'm thinking in my head like, what the, how heavy is this guy, you know? So I'm like, all right, let me talk to the team. So my manager wasn't answering, so and honestly, Shelby kept calling, he kept pressing me about it, and I'm like, all right, man, you know, like, just. He's like, this is what he said. He's like, all right, D-Rock, do this. And after this fight, anything you want, bro. Anything you want. I'm like, fuck, bro. All right, we'll do it. You know, and we made the verbal agreement that I was gonna do it. So like an hour goes by, and my manager finally called me back, and he's like, I'm like, bro, I had to make a choice, you know. And he didn't like the fact that I did that, you know, because he's like, bro, that's what you need to let me do my job right there, you know. But I was like, fuck, it was a tough spot, bro. It was like last minute. And so I'm like, all right, fuck it, we're doing the fight. So right away, I'm like ordering food. I'm like, let's go downstairs. I need to eat right now, bro. You know, so went downstairs, ordered some, literally just a bowl of pasta, a bunch of rice, and try to start packing on weight, start rehydrating and stuff like that. Not too much, but just like to start getting the carbs in my body, and start like, all right, man, this is what I got to do. And so the management team had their talk with Shelby and stuff, and they're like, all right, we got a good deal for you, dog, you know. So that's where it was even a little like I didn't feel so bad about taking the fight. Now I'm like, all right, they wanted to give me a new deal, and you know, they did their job, and shit, man. Fucking stepped on scale at 84. I'm like, fucking, I'm a welterweight about to fight a middleweight, you know. So
Yeah, I mean, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I saw your video, and I had so much respect for you, Daniel. Afterwards, you're like, listen, you know, all right, the fight didn't go your way. We'll talk about that in a second. But you said, you know, it didn't go my way, but I got a new 6-fight deal out of it. Congrats on that. You got 30% of his purse, and I don't know what Kelvin gets paid, but he's been around for a while, so he's probably on a decent, you know, amount of money. So you got a nice bonus there. But the fact that you were still, you know, you were looking at the positives, I think a lot of people can learn from that, you know, because it's easy to feel sorry for yourself in those situations. But I talked about this on the post-fight show, and it seemed like I was going really hard on Kelvin, but you have to in that situation, you know, as a professional fighter, and certainly someone like Kelvin that's had a history, you got an obligation. You're under pressure to make weight. And certainly when he's out there posting that video, missing weight with Kelvin Gastellum, I'm sure you saw that, right?
Yeah. That was bad. That was bad on his behalf. I don't know why he would post that, and still, you know, it was, for me, it was even after the fight, I got in his face and I was like, "Yo, bro, you could have told me this shit a week ago or 2 weeks ago when you knew you weren't gonna when you knew you weren't gonna cut weight." I would have still said, "Yeah." I think everybody knew that. I think they on their side they knew I would take the fight anyways, you know. But yeah, it was crazy, bro. Like a whole weight class, and I would understand like 5 pounds, tops, but damn, he put me in a spot right there where I was already months invested in training camp, and bro, 6 months, like I was practically training for this fight for like it's been a while. It's been a while. I've been preparing myself for like the comeback, and I did everything the right way. Weight cut, fight camp was great, and then to show up, and they're like, "Yo, like hey, bro, he should have told me I could have been eating tacos and drinking beer too, bro."
Yeah, yeah. Well. The thing is, like, if you ask Dominic Cruz, and he says this all the time, and I'm always like, I don't know if I agree with him, but on this occasion, maybe I do because of what you're saying as well. Dominic's always like, when people miss weight that egregiously, it's a tactic, it's a strategy. They're doing it on purpose because, for you, you've dieted down, you've gone without carbohydrates, you're on a calorie deficit, so you're not recovering properly. The energy levels dip throughout the training camp. You lose muscle mass as well as fat. You know what I mean? So your prime athletic optimum level, you're not there because you're suffering, Whereas on the flip side, and it's not like I'm trying to shit on Kelvin, but let's just call it as it is. The man's eating, he's recovering, he's coming in big and strong. And as you say, he could have told you weeks away, but he leaves it until the day before you're supposed to weigh in, whilst you're in Saudi Arabia, when you've been dieting, and he showed up and he didn't exactly look lean. Let's put it like that, So yeah, I feel for you, man.
Yeah, yeah, and at that point, I was just like, man, I already trained, I already did everything. I was like, we gonna fight, because that's what I came to do. I came to fight. We had me come all the way to Saudi Arabia. It wasn't like I was gonna go out there and be like, leave empty handed, bro. I was like, I'm invested in this fight camp. This is my life. So I'm happy that the way that I'm not happy with the loss, but still, man, I went out there and I went toe to toe with the guy. And I'm not gonna lie, he did feel strong in his fight. He hits hard. I'm not gonna lie, but at the same time, if he would have cut down to 70, he wouldn't have had all that energy to keep pressing me, to keep pushing forward, absorbing all my shots, to pace
hitting the takedowns in round 3.
Yeah, and then the takedowns too. That's what I knew he was gonna do. I'm like, man, he's gonna use his weight on me. He's gonna, I'm like, yeah, he felt strong on the takedowns, But it's funny because he don't never shoot for takedown. He's not taking dudes down. He not necessarily has like, he's not. I knew he was be like try to grapple, but he's not known for that, And now that he got all this weight advantage on me, and now he wants to shoot for he wants to be going for takedowns, On one of those takedowns, first one, too, like he took me down. I was like, "Fool, you're a bitch," Like I told her, like, "Fool, you're a bitch for that, bro. Like, let's fight, bro." And on top of that, you know, um, he ended up going to the hospital after, because he said like, I don't know, he said some shit like I hit hard or whatever, and he had like, I hope he's feeling better, and I never want to hurt nobody, but shit, like if it was at welterweight, I think it would have been he would have gassed. He wouldn't have had that energy because he would have been drained. So it changed the fight,
Without question, without question. But talking of the fight, you did come to fight. You showed up, and it was an amazing fight, Daniel. And I really mean that. I'm not trying to say that to make you feel better. You guys stood there, went toe to toe. You're right. He did have tremendous cardio because, as you say, he hasn't gone through the hardship of dieting down. And for people that have never done it, they don't understand how hard that is and how much it impacts your athletic ability. But that aside, you stood toe to toe. You gave as good as you got. You landed some amazing punches, some great combinations. And yeah, sure, he landed as well. I got to say, though, you're still looking pretty. You're not too banged up.
Yeah, man. Not gonna lie, like it was a very competitive fight, man. And I'm happy that I was there because people don't realize that weight, it might be only 10, 15 pounds weight difference and shit. But in this fight game at this level, like that shit matters, bro. You know, and as far as power goes, like he had. So I mean, but I still went out there and I still gave it all I got. And even though I got that loss, man, it kind of the respect that I got from taking the fight and the way it turned out from the community is priceless, bro. It's
Yeah.
There's the love that I've been getting from the fans, the comments. Nobody showing him no love. He's getting no. There's not anybody out there. Everyone's like, "Yo, you're trash, bro." That's bullshit, you know. And
Yeah, well, I mean, it is, and I know everyone, because he was the last fight of my career. People think, "Oh, I'm just talking shit because I'm bitter or something." Shut the up. That was years ago. I always do this when people miss weight. There's only two things that you can guarantee: that you show up on weight and in shape. I don't like it when fighters gas super early either. I'm like, are you taking this serious or what? But you fought your goddamn ass off, you know. And I do believe you didn't get the result, but it was a moral victory. You said, yeah, okay, I'll take this guy on. I'll step up a weight class on short notice. I'll fight my ass off with a guy that went toe-to-toe and almost beat Israel Adesanya, you know, and it was a tremendous fight, man. And your stock has gone up. It's only gone up. So, you know, there's lots to be positive for there, Daniel. We were just talking with Felder a second ago. We were joking because we've got you on and we've got Mike Perry on next. And I'm like, I think they're coming, but you never know with these fighters. You know, I said, to be fair, you know, he just flew back from Saudi Arabia, might be asleep or whatever. And then obviously you showed up. But I was talking there, and it's something that you've been very honest about, Daniel, you know, and I was the same way, you know, before my fight career, you know, I was in a little bit of trouble here and there, you know, and you've spoke about it in fighter meetings and stuff. Do you mind sharing a bit of your story prior to like kind of like getting on, you know, the right path?
Yeah, man. I actually didn't start training MMA till I was 25 years old, man. And I'm 37 now, so this whole journey has been like you know, literally a 12-year process. But prior to that, man, I kind of grew up like I'm from LA, you know, and we grew up like both of my family, both gang members. So I kind of grew up in that kind of lifestyle. So, you know, we grew up in the hood, and like when I was like 15 was the first time I ever got arrested, you know, and from like the age of 15 to 22, 23, I was just like always in and out of jail, man. And even in my youth, I even went to like military kind of style boot camp kind of shit, like, and you know, I was just constantly in and out. Like I was the type of person, like the longest I ever did was like 9 months in the LA County jail, but shit, that's just it's rough, you know. That's a long time. But I was always the person that I'll do that time, and I'll get out for like 2 weeks or a month, you know, and then I'll go back for another 6, and then I'll come out and then get a little violation, and I was just like, you know, I was into gang banging and you know, just surviving on the streets, you know, and the only positive I could take from constantly being in jail is like I loved working out. You know, I always wanted to fucking be on my workout shit. And I wanted to be strong in there because I like fighting. One thing for sure that I truly enjoyed was fighting. I was always getting into fights, you know. So I've been in hundreds of street fights, dude. So when I finally decided I wanted to change my life, is actually I just became a fan of MMA. I got out of jail one day, and my cousin was like, "Yo, we're having a barbecue. Come watch UFC." You know, and I didn't know what it was. And I was like, all right, cool. He's like, yeah, some food. Rampage is fighting. That was when Rampage fought Forrest Griffin. It was the first time I saw UFC, and I saw that shit. And I had always been a fan of boxing. Like as long as I can remember, I love boxing. You know,
International Fight Week 2010 main event. Rampage lost to Forrest Griffin for the light heavyweight championship. I was there. I helped him train for that fight. I was in the crowd with a serious hangover.
Yeah, man. So I fell in love with the sport, and I remember I had tried to do everything and try to like make my life better, and I found a job in construction, and I remember I would leave construction every day, and there was a gym called Tap Out in LA in downtown Los Angeles, and I would always pass by, and I would always go home like, man, I want to try that gym. I want to go train. So I ended up going one day, and after like my first sparring session, I showed up to sparring one day, and I was just aggressive. I had this like wild aggressive style, and obviously knockout power, and the coaches fell in love right there. They're like, yo, like this kid got something. Like they knew I had something special. So I trained for 2 years. I had my first amateur fight at 27. I was 7-0 amateur in LA. And then by 29, I turned pro and fought at Contender Series at 33, and I've been in the UFC since.
It's unbelievable, man. It's just like it's a very, very different scenario. For me, I come from a small town. It's not Los Angeles. It didn't have parents that were gangbanging and stuff like that. So you I think it's fair to say you're a product of your environment, right? And a lot of people grow up with hardship. I grew up, I was the same thing. I was always getting into fights and stuff like that. And of course, I got to give credit to my lady, a good woman, of course, that's part of it. But the UFC and having a career and something to fight for and something to feel productive and a reason to stay on the straight and narrow and get my shit together is kind of what saved my life to a certain degree as well. So I'm so grateful for that. But I remember clear as day, the one when I said, right, that's it. I'm done. I'm turning my life around. I was always getting arrested and stuff like that. And it's when I went to prison and I was surrounded by all these deadbeats. I was like, that's it. That's it. I'm never, ever, ever going to be here ever again. And I made a promise to myself. Do you remember the day where you kind of had that similar scenario?
Yeah, man. I've managed to, every day that I'm still out here, man. I still have my freedom, and I'm grateful, and I didn't have shit before, and MMA is gave me like purpose, and really I'm just doing all I know, bro. All I know is like, like all I know is how to fight, so the fact that, I went from nothing to something is just like a testament, and being where I'm from in LA, and it's so I'm so relatable to a lot of all of LA, so like I'm like authentic to the LA and its culture and shit, so the fact that I get to represent that in the UFC just fucking and I do that with pride, I wear it on my back, and I remember every day everything I've been through, and to make it from where I was at to where I am now is rare, and it's rare, and I want to just be an example that you could turn it around, bro. Everybody, you hear that story all the time, and I always felt like, shit, why not me, bro? Why can't I be the guy that makes it from nothing to something and gets to tell that story? And it's inspiring. I'd be inspired by my story, my own story, So I'm grateful to be here, dog.
Well, you should be. You should be very proud of yourself. And as you just mentioned there, I'm sure there's lots of people from your area going through the same stuff that saw what you did, and saw that there is a way to turn it around. And granted, not everyone can fight. Not everyone's blessed with that ability, and people are cut from different cloths. But, you were able to do it. You found your skill. You realized what that was, because it's easy to sit there and feel sorry for yourself and just succumb to it and just say, this is who I am. I'm going to go down this path there, So, no, you should be proud of yourself, Daniel. You really should. And I mean that sincerely. 6-fight deal, though. 6-fight deal on the table. Nice little pay rise.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm grateful for that, too, because shit, I had 2 fights left on my contract. I'm coming off 2 losses. I kind of felt like my back was going to like, yo, I need this win. I don't want to, and then this happens, but I still get the contract. So shit, I don't feel so bad, So I'm grateful to still be here. I mean, the fact that I'm in the UFC is, to this day, it just blows my mind. I'll be backstage or I'll be walking out like, man, I can't believe this is my life now. It's crazy.
I used to do the same thing, man. As I say, I'm from Clitheroe, tiny, small little town. Couldn't be any different from LA, but still, it's a small, very working class town. It's beautiful, though. It's beautiful, but it ain't no Los Angeles. Let me tell you that. It ain't no mean streets of LA. It's not, but it's a small little kind of dead end town, but it is beautiful. And same thing, man. I'd be like, fuck, I don't believe this. I'm in Las Vegas. hell? This is crazy, man. I'm in Las Vegas. What am I doing here? How did I end up here? So unbelievable. Let me throw something at you. And I don't think the UFC would go for it because they just tried it. But what about you go out there and you say, Gastellum, fight me again at 170 pounds. Is that something that interests you? Would you like to get a rematch where he's had to diet down and do it properly? Or are you done with him now?
You know, after him pulling that, bro, he deserves to get cut from the UFC. You know what I mean? But I would love to fight him. I don't think the UFC should ever give him an opportunity to fight at 170. You know,
yeah,
but
I get it.
We could run it back. You know, we can run it back. You know, I guarantee it'll be a different outcome. You know, shit, if he wants to do it, we could do it. You know, I'm pretty sure fans want to see it. Shit, I want my run back, bro. As it is, it was a good fight anyway. It was.
That's it. Come on, Daniel. Come on. That's it. Get worked up. Talk your shit, buddy.
Yeah.
Hey, well, listen, you got 5 kids, right?
Yeah, man.
Well, enjoy the time at home with your family,
bro,
you know?
Yeah. I got all kinds of stuff lined up. It's going to be a great summer. Actually, I can't wait to,
get him on, Mike. Brian, bring him on. Look at this.
There he is.
From one BMF to another one. You guys know each other?
What's up, big dog?
Shout out to you, bro, man. That was a good fight you had with fat ass Kelvin Gastellum, bro.
Oh yeah, man. Hey, that's just crazy, but fuck it was a great fight and shit. Yo, congrats on the Jake Paul fight, man.
Thank
you. Red Panty night, let's go.
That's hey, Mike. That's exactly what I was just telling Daniel. You know what I mean? Because he's been through some ups and downs in life, and obviously he's pissed off and kind of frustrated at the situation. I was like, dude, you went out there, you fought your ass off. You should be proud of yourself. You got a new 6-fight contract. So there's lots to be positive about, you know what I mean? And Daniel, I thank you for your time today. Mikey, any words of wisdom before he jumps off?
Man, he knows what he's doing, man. He's training hard. You got 5 kids. I mean, I got 2. So props to you. You making it if you got 5 and you guys are making it work and you got a new 6-fight deal. That's amazing because now you got a whole new mindset going into it. They're going to try to throw the brick wall at you and make it hard for you to succeed. And you just keep pumping, fighting, and try to win, man, best you can. That's what we got to do, right?
Yep. You already know what's up, dog. Congrats to you and everything you got going on, homie.
Yeah. Amazing. Daniel, I'll let you go, brother. Thank you. Congrats on a great performance, man. And I truly mean that. I'm not condescending you. Be proud of yourself. And thank you for your time today.
Thanks, bro.
All right, this episode is sponsored by Shopify, which is the e-commerce platform revolutionizing millions of businesses worldwide. If you are an entrepreneur, if you have an idea for a business or currently have a business and you're not online, you're missing the trick. It's the year 2024. What are you doing? So listen, Shopify makes it very, very simple. It makes it very uncomplicated, and it makes it extremely cost effective as well. Shopify also covers every single sales channel, from an in-person POS system to an all-in-one e-commerce platform. It even lets you sell across the social media marketplaces like Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. It's packed with industry-leading tools ready to ignite your growth. Shopify gives you complete control over your business. You don't have to learn any new skills or design or code. And there's a 24/7 customer service helpline. There's an extensive business library course if you do want to learn more. And Shopify is there to support your success every single step of the way. And right now, you can get all of this for a trial period of just $1 per month when you go to shopify.com/believe. If you've got an idea, give it a try by going to shopify.com/believe. If you have a business and you want to take it to the next level, go to shopify.com/believe. Right now, you can sign up for just $1 per month, a trial period. One more time, shopify.com/believe. These are the possibilities which are powered by Shopify. Mike Platinum Perry, what's going on, buddy?
That's cool, man. I got to talk to D-Rod. He's a good guy, man. I had a good fight with him. And, maybe we learned something from each other and we're still on that path. You know what I mean? We're still doing big things, big fights. And the experience that you get from all of it it's the journey itself that makes it great to be a martial artist. And I'm happy to be here, man, talking with some of the best fighters, former world champion Michael Bisping. I love you, Mike.
Let's go. Mike, thanks for jumping on today. I appreciate your time. You've got a massive fight scheduled, so we're going to talk about that. But I want to ask you this, because I see clips of your podcast, which is fantastic, by the way. What's it called again? What's it called? Oh, I'm going to say Overdog.
Overdog.
Yeah. Yeah, man. And when did you listen? What you've done with your life, we've talked about it with bare knuckle, finding your niche and all the rest of it. But when did you become this like philosophical guy that's giving out great advice and awesome takes? And just then with Daniel Rodriguez, when did this wise old owl Mike Perry version come along? Or has he always been there?
I've always been here, man. I love the martial arts movies. Last night I watched Kung Fu Panda 4 with the band. My son was into it. Usually he's not into it. And I've been seeing the movie for a long time. It was for rent for like $20. Then it went down to the $5 and it wasn't quite time. And then it was on Peacock for free. And my son was like, we're going to watch Kung Fu Panda. I was like, absolutely, bro. He watched the whole thing. I loved it, man.
How old is he?
3.
Okay. A little early yet. But I tried the whole thing with the movies with my son, and like he wouldn't do it. But then I showed him Big Trouble in Little China. Mm-hmm. And that was now he loves sitting down and doing movie night. And we watch all the old school martial art things. So when he's a bit older, Big Trouble, Little China. Have you seen that, Mike?
I don't think I have. Old school, I was going to love The Drunken Master.
Dude, do yourself a favor tonight. Big Trouble in Little China, and you're going to text me, and you're going to be like, that's one of the greatest movies I've ever seen. It's brilliant. Kurt Russell, it's martial art madness, like Tekken characters. It's amazing. Okay, I'll tell you what else is amazing. Mike Perry versus Jake Paul, going down, July 20th?
Big Trouble in Little Tampa.
Let's go. Big Trouble with a little tampon.
The fight is in Tampa, Florida. Jake better bring some tampons. He's gonna be bleeding out of his face.
Yeah. Tell me your thoughts. It feels to me, I don't know if you saw some of the videos that I did, right? Jake's, hey, listen, fair play. He's a businessman and he's made a lot of money. And with his YouTube stuff and his boxing, stuff that he's done, he's made a lot of money and he's beaten some people, of course, with names like Anderson Silva and Tyron Woodley. And whether or not they were past their prime, that's still an accomplishment, right? I've shit on him a little bit, but it's still an accomplishment. But they've been kind of past their prime. You know what I'm saying? And he was going to fight Mike Tyson, 58 years old. That's a whole other conversation. You know that. And I think when he looks at you, he thinks, well, here was a guy that was fighting in the UFC and now he's fighting bare knuckle. I think he's severely underestimated what he's getting involved with here, Mike. What do you think?
I don't know if he's underestimating it. I think he is looking for a challenge because he hasn't been given them. And, this fight game will show you something when you're looking for something. See, I'm looking for easy fights. That's maybe why I got this one, because it's going to be an easy night. I might put the hurt on him soon because he said under 3 rounds for me. And I was thinking 7 or 8 rounds. I'm going to put the pressure, let it build up. I'm going to enjoy my time in the ring with him. I'm going to have fun at the show. I'm going to put on a show for the fans that come through. And, I was thinking because how you started the question, but his team, it is a team sport because, I was just at the barber, hair's looking good.
You're looking, I need a haircut, bro. I'm all over the place. That's why I got so much product in. But you look good. Good,
but thank you. But me and my barber were talking about my boxing coach. He's super great, and we put a plan together. We train hard over X amount of time, and it's 2 great teams coming against each other. But I think they're a little bit cocky and arrogant in how they think this goes. And me and my coach, we love a great fight. We love a real brawl, a real battle. and that's where I thrive. And we're gonna have one because he had one with Tommy Fury, but I think that I bring a lot more just viciousness to the table than a Tommy Fury. Tommy was able to take Jake's hits pretty well, and I believe I can do that even better and return fire with better shots. Tommy boxed and backed up more. I'm looking to get inside and be powerful. So it's two great teams. It is kind of a team sport, but his team is about this is my opportunity. I don't have anything to be negative about. You know what I'm saying? It's two teams that have come together. We're doing business together because we both do great business. And at the end of the night, I will execute my plan and execute him.
So stylistically, when you look at this fight, this is, as you said, you mentioned one word there, ferocious, Mike. And you are ferocious, right? And that's why you've been so successful. Like Michael Venom Page, he's got a huge fight this weekend against Ian Gary. You've got the perfect style for somebody like Michael Venom Page because you're going to go forward, you're going to get in his face, you're going to be on the inside, you've got great cardio, great boxing. When I look at Jake Paul, I think he's going to struggle with that style from you. I think, okay, you've got to give the guy respect. He's a big guy, he's powerful, he's clearly shown that. But I do think he throws a lot of looping shots and he leaves a lot of room on the inside and in the pocket. Would you kind of agree with that assessment?
Yeah, he opens up. There are some spots you can hit him in between. When he opens up, he does get tighter. He cleans up his stuff. I remember from when we sparred, 15 seconds in, I hit him with a body shot, hurt him, made him gasp. Good shit. He told me good body shot. And as he ran away around the other side of the ring, he gets. And
that's always that's when when they say, "Oh, good one."
But he adjusted. He did a good job. He adjusted. He wouldn't let me get back there. He dug that elbow in that day. That's just one of the lessons I taught him that day. And I know I made him run into some other shit for sure. So, I'm looking. I got the experience. The kid's done a good job. He's gotten himself. We both built ourselves up to this point where we're the perfect fight for each other. And it's time for me to show the world what an established career in mixed martial arts and fighting in general can do in the prime of my age against a young, strong kid who's about prime as well, and Jake.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm assuming, and I'm not looking for numbers or anything like that, but I'm assuming this is going to be a very handsome payday for you.
It's not bad. It's right on cue with BKFC.
There's nothing crazy?
No, nothing crazy.
Good money.
It depends. Hopefully, there's lots of streamers out there. I'm hoping the pay-per-view. This is my first chance at a pay-per-view. Technically not. Basic. Depending on how my BKFC pay-per-view went, I did have one, and I don't think it did a certain amount of numbers that would have been more beneficial to me, but it wouldn't have been super crazy. But this one, I'm hoping that the pay-per-view does well and that people buy the show, and because Dazen be a little pricey out there sometimes, but we out there working for that money. So buy the event and I'll give you the fight you want to see. I'm going to do that regardless. I'm going to go in there. The fight itself is the journey. I'm loving it, where I'm at, what I'm on, the journey I'm on. So, the money is right there with BKFC with me, and I've already established and set myself up, set my family up. Now I get to have fun. Now I get to enjoy the fight and put on a show and try to be the best Platinum Mike Perry the world has ever seen.
That's interesting what you said there now, because you've made money. So to a certain degree, the pressure's off with maintaining and providing for your family. So now you get to have fun. That's interesting. I never thought about it like that, but you're right, because when you start fighting, that's what it's all about. And now you get to have some fun. How do you feel about Jake? How do you guys get along? I saw you on an interview last week, and things were getting a little bit freaky. Said you guys might get married in the middle of the. I mean, what was going on there?
Well, no, I said my fist was gonna marry his face, and
he's gonna give you a reach around.
Yeah, that one, that was his role there. We can get it freaky, that's fine, because it's gonna get dirty and nasty in there in the ring. I might nibble on his ear a little bit, but get him ready for if he thinks he's gonna fight Mike Tyson. I'm trying to ruin that whole thing for him. See if they offer it to me after I knock Jake out. Or be like, hey, do you want to fight Mike Tyson on Netflix? I would, but like I don't want to be an asshole either. And I could go in there and move around with him. And if Mike can't knock me out, which is, I don't know, he might be able to hurt me pretty good. I might have to hit myself. And then I'll be the bad guy if I do good against the old guy.
Yeah, well, see, that was the thing, because I was working out before, after we text, and I was like, all right, so I'll ask Mike. I'll ask, would you ever fight Mike Tyson? And then I thought to myself, I'm not going to ask that, because, listen, if someone's going to put you on Netflix, they're going to pay you a shit ton of dough. It's Mike Tyson, right? Of course, you're probably going to take it. You know what I mean? But it is a weird one. It's a weird one, because what you're going to do, you're going to go beat the out of Mike Tyson? Are you going to let Mike Tyson beat the shit out of you? You know what I mean? It's like, what are we doing here? He's an old dude.
Do you have a choice? If you're in that ring with Mike Tyson, do you really have a choice?
Oh, he's going to come at you 100%. And he's still got the power. But you knock out Jake Paul, there's a potential that fight never happens.
That's the real win here. If I can stop that. But I don't want it to hurt Mike's pockets either.
Of course.
If Mike wants to get paid and he wants to fight, well, then I'll step in for Jake. I'll put my guard up real good, let him punch on me. And,
Mike Perry is the savior of Mike Tyson. Not that he needs you to save him, but that's what's going on here. You're going to save Mike Tyson from lowering himself to doing this at 58 years old.
He don't got to do it.
Yeah, he doesn't have to do that. The man's a legend of the highest degree. Simple as that. What's the prediction? Go on. What round you think you're going to get this guy out? Because you've been in there with him. You've moved around.
Well, I'm strong, man. I put some weight on. I'm moving pretty good at this size. I'm pushing people around pretty easily. I was sparring last week with, there was about 500 pounds in the ring. And I did, 4 and 4 with a fresh guy, 4 rounds, and then 4 rounds with a fresh heavyweight. And I was able to be in there. And, he said 3 or under. And I said 7 or 8 for me knocking him out. I want the pressure and all that. But the way I'm feeling strong. I'm going to get in that ring with them 10-ounce gloves. And I'm going to hurt him bad. Really fast. I'm going to hit him. I'm going to hurt him. So, I got to knock him out. I'm going to knock him out. That's how I'm bringing the fight. Was the last one I had against Thiago, interviewer asked me, is at some point is the game plan to throw out the game plan. And, I'm like, that was the game plan from the beginning. I'm all this waiting is all the time I need. When that bell rings, I'm going for the, execution.
Yeah. Well, of course. And that's what we're always doing. I tell you what, I would take a lot of satisfaction. Not that I've got anything, I don't, personally, I've got nothing against the guy. I've never met him face to face. He sent me a ton of DMs talking shit. And all right, fair enough. I kind of deserve him because I do some videos and I talk a bit of shit, but it's like, whatever, it's a fight a real boxer, fight someone in the prime. Now, finally, I do have respect because he's fighting you. But I will say this, I will take a bit of nice satisfaction when I see Mike Perry getting his hand raised. After the journey you've been on, Mike, everything that you've done, I hope your bank account is absolutely booming. You make a shit ton off this. Where do people buy the pay-per-view?
DAZN pay-per-view, DAZN pay-per-view.
Look at this guy cutting promos. What's the date?
July 20th at the Emily Arena in Tampa, Florida. Main event, Platinum Mike Perry versus Jake Paul. Show you what time it is. Disney.
Let's go. My man. What else is going on, Mike? Other than that, I'm assuming you're just training like a madman and getting ready for this, but life's good for you right now, yeah?
Man, I was on a kayak yesterday. We were doing it as like a little Sunday workout. Did like 6 miles on the kayak, just pumping in the
recovery.
As much as I like a yacht, damn, I enjoyed myself on that kayak yesterday in the sun. I had my family on the pontoon. They were watching me. My kids were, Dad, and I'm kayaking, trying to keep up with the damn boat. Good time, man. Life is beautiful.
I've never mentioned this before. So in England, we call it a canoe. Same thing. I was on the British canoeing squad when I was a kid. I used to be pretty good on a kayak myself, Mike.
The row team?
Not the row. That's like all of them doing that. Individual kayaking or canoeing, as we call it. Yeah. Anyway, whatever. I'm shit though. I never.
Are different.
Say again.
Canoe and a kayak's a little different.
Well, it is here in the States, but in England, we call a canoe a kayak. Sorry, we call a kayak what you call a kayak a canoe. Okay. Same thing. Yeah. As I said, I'm not going to take up too much of your time, man. I just wanted to have you on here, talk about the fight, congratulate you on that. Wish you the best of luck, of course. Big fan, love what you're doing, and I'll let you get out of here, buddy.
Thank you, bro. Have a blessed one. Good to see you, Mike.
All the best, Mike. You take care, pal.
All right, brother.
There he is, the one and only Platinum Mike Perry. And from one Mike, sadly, to a less impressive Mike, that would be the one and only Mike Harrington. But with a lovely smile, an excellent backdrop, and of course, full of enthusiasm for the Believe You Me podcast. We're not going to do questions today because I also have just come back from Saudi Arabia. I also am exhausted. I've also put a shift in. I feel like I'm in training camp right now. But we will do questions on Thursday. And Michael Kieson will be joining us on Thursday. And we do have another couple of good guests, not yet confirmed, that I can't say yet who yet. But they'll be joining us on Thursday as well. But if you have a question, please send it in to bympod@gmail.com and we will answer it soon.
And if you're listening on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you find podcasts, make sure to subscribe. Leave us a 5-star rating, positive review. It really helps out on those platforms. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the channel and you hit that notification bell to find out whenever a new episode drops. And if you want to catch over 500 episodes you can't find anywhere else, completely ad-free and totally uncensored, head to gasdigital.com. Use the promo code BYM, get a discount on check out over 20 great shows on the network.
And that's it for today's show. We've been going for a little while there, so I just want to say a massive thank you to Paul Felder. Always a pleasure to just shoot the shit with Paul. Of course, Daniel Rodriguez just flew back from Saudi Arabia. I know the feeling, and joining us. And congrats again, man, if you see this. And then, of course, Mike Perry. Shout out Mike Perry, absolute G. You guys take care. We'll be back on Thursday.